Game will be Saturday. Notice the early kickoff time, and we do mean early, 11 a.m. from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And the game can be seen on ABC and ESPN's College Game Day. They're making it their game of the week because they're going to be in Dallas at the Texas State Fair as well. The Sooners, the line has gone up from when it opened at 8.5. It currently, as we speak on October 4th, is at 10 points. So the Sooners getting a lot of love from Las Vegas. Sooners, of course, coming off a cakewalk, defeating Ball State 62-6 offensively and defensively, doing almost everything right. Special teams was shaky. We'll talk about that later on my 5 keys of the game. I'm going to have 5 keys instead of 4 because there's really a lot to cover between the Sooners and the Longhorns. Now, talking about Texas, of course, the train wreck last year at 5-7. A lot of people might wonder, you know, am I surprised that Texas is where they're at right now, ranked 11th in the country, and perfect, undefeated at 4-0. In a lot of ways, I'm not surprised because if you watched my Texas season preview earlier this year, back in August on this very webpage, you'll note that I did pick Texas to go 8-4, but I picked them to finish 5th in the league. I thought they would lose to Missouri, A&M, Oklahoma State, and the team they're playing this Saturday, Oklahoma. And it could still happen that way too. But I did think Texas would be unbeaten entering this particular game. So that perspective, it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me also that Texas's defense is playing well because I still think they have a good defense, and it doesn't surprise me that Malcolm Brown, their true freshman running back, has had the good start that he's had so far. I thought he'd be an impactful player, and he has been. So I'm not surprised from those perspectives. What might surprise me just a little bit is the way that the quarterbacks for Texas have played so far. David Ash, the true freshman, Case McCoy, the redshirt freshman. I thought it would take them a while to get adjusted to a new offensive coordinator in Brian Harsin and his offense, which seems like night and day compared to their old offensive coordinator, Greg Davis. I thought it would take a long time to be a big learning curve for those guys, and those guys have learned a little bit faster than I thought, and they've adjusted a little better than I thought. So far, the quarterback play for Texas, that has surprised me because they've done better in that area than I anticipated. And I didn't think that Jackson Shipley would have an immediate impact that he's had on the Texas offense. Of course, he's the younger brother of Jordan Shipley, who gave Oklahoma nightmares throughout his career at Texas. Jackson looks like he's just as athletic and means a lot to that offense as we've seen so far. So, most ways, I'm not surprised that Texas is undefeated, but a little bit surprised of some of the players that have developed in just 1 month of football. For the Sooners, they cannot go into this game thinking that just because they're the higher-ranked team and a double-digit favorite, that it's going to be easy. Don't believe your press clippings, Oklahoma. Treat Texas like you did Florida State. Treat it like it's the game of the year, because this is a game that if you lose Oklahoma, national championship gone, Big 12 championship in doubt, and with still games for Oklahoma left against Kansas State, who's a lot better than we anticipated. They're undefeated and ranked in the top 25. Baylor's ranked in the top 25. A&M struggling, but they're still in the top 25. And you still have to play at Oklahoma State at the end of the year. There are still landmines potentially ahead between now and the end of the season. But no question, a victory over Texas keeps that momentum going. And with the game next week against Kansas, the Sooners, if they can win this one right here, you get the feeling that they won't have another big game to play for a while. Yes, indeed. Let's highlight the 5 keys to this game. Key number 1, Oklahoma, protect Landry and expect the unexpected. Manny Diaz's Texas defense is going to show you some different things. They're going to be blitzing. They're going at times to be emptying the kitchen sink. You could say it's a big play type of defense. So Oklahoma has to be ready. If you're Texas, that's good because maybe you can force Landry into mistakes. But it could be bad because if Oklahoma picks up the blitzes, if they could see some matchups, that it could really cost the Longhorns and Oklahoma could cash in. That's where Kenny Stills, I think, could be the MVP of this ballgame, the wide receiver. Ryan Broyles is going to get a lot of attention paid to him. This is when it helps to have a deep, talented, wide receiving unit like Oklahoma does. It's not just one guy that can beat you, but several guys. Maybe Jazz Reynolds will come through in this particular game as well, because I do think a lot of attention will be paid toward Ryan Broyles. So Kenny Stills, you could be the man in this game, And Trey Millard at fullback, got to pick up those blitzes as well. Oklahoma offensive line, we will see how Gabe Eichert, now at center for the injured Ben Haber, we'll see how he does. Give Landry time to throw. With Texas' big play defense, could be a pretty big day for the OU offense. Key number 2, Dominic Whaley. If this game comes down to the trenches in the fourth quarter, this is when a powerful, complete running back like Whaley could really help out. Like we saw against Florida State when OU had that slim lead down the stretch. They gave it to Whaley, kept giving it to him. First down, and OU kicked the field goal to put the game out of reach. Could be a similar situation for OU in this game. Whaley could be called upon, especially in the fourth quarter. Key number 3, ashes to ashes, real McCoy part 2, OU, be prepared. OU will win or lose this game, in my opinion, by what they're doing right now, preparing, watching film, going over tendencies. Because Brian Harsin, the new offensive coordinator for the Longhorns, you're going to see both Ash and McCoy at quarterback. You're also going to see Fozzie Whitaker in the Wildcat formation. You're going to see different formations. You're going to see bags of tricks thrown by Texas. So Brent Venables and staff for Oklahoma, be on alert. Key number 4, in my opinion, in this game, Oklahoma beat Texas, don't beat OU, meaning don't beat yourself. Texas, a big reason why I thought they'd be better was because I thought that they would be more disciplined. Last year, they were one of the worst teams in college football when it came to turnover margin. They were bad, and it meant that they lost a lot of close games, primarily because they turned it over more than their opponent. This year, it's been just the opposite. Texas is +6 in the turnover category, takeaway, giveaway category. Longhorns are +6. That makes a big, big difference. And for Oklahoma, it's going to be hard for me to imagine them losing this game if they don't turn the ball over, or if they do, not turning it over in their own territory. Don't shorten the field for Texas. They'll take advantage of it if you do. So disciplined ball, just like we've said in previous times, but in this game more than ever. And then key number 5, Saturday special, talking about special teams for Oklahoma. Last week against Ball State, it was bad. Giving up an opening onside kick, later in the quarter, fumbling a punt return. Brian Broyles did, which I didn't think I'd ever see. And then we saw a penalty on a special teams play later on. And even Tress Way had a bad punt in that game. I think one that just barely went over 30 yards. They might need his golden leg in this one. And this place kicking department makes me very nervous because I don't know who Oklahoma's going to go with. Either kicker, you've got issues. Honeycutt probably gives you more length than Stevens, but you put Stevens in the game, his kicks look ugly. They don't get a lot of lift off of it, so you have to worry about a possible block kick. So I'll be curious to see who Bob Stoops goes with. We probably won't know until moments before the game. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Saturday special. Final thoughts on this game. Well, the Oklahoma Sooners should win this ball game. They're the more talented ball club, but we've seen sometimes in the past that it's the team that plays better, not necessarily the team that's more talented, that wins this game. Texas's defense, as well as their motivation, as well as the different looks they're going to be shown to Oklahoma, I think gives them an opportunity to go neck and neck, toe-to-toe with Oklahoma all the way up to the fourth quarter. But in the fourth, I look for Oklahoma to win. I look for Whaley to have an impactful game. And again, I think Kenny Stills could be the hero of this matchup. It will not be easy, but I look for Oklahoma to win the game 27-17. And I think that point spread's just about right, 10 points. I'll have my post-game show sometime on Saturday, since it is an early Saturday game. Again, I have Oklahoma winning, but they'll have to earn it against the Longhorns 27-17. Boomer Sooner.